Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Juice Jets Show, and a whole lot of Jets news happened today, so let's go ahead and recap it. So first and foremost, congratulations to Jermaine Johnson for making the Pro Bowl. He will be replacing Khalil Mack in this year's games. I mean, Jermaine Johnson had an absolutely amazing second season in the league, recording 7.5 sacks, 55 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 7 pass deflections, 1 interception, which was returned for a pick six, and 1 forced fumble. An absolutely huge second year for Jermaine Johnson that ends with him making a trip to Orlando and joining Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams in the Pro Bowl. So congratulations to Jermaine Johnson. And a potential Pro Bowler for the Jets in the future could potentially be Tyler Fuega, who is apparently a draft prospect that the New York Jets have their eye on. Rich Cimini said that he's been hearing in draft buzz scouting circles that the Jets have interest in Fuega and have had interest in him for multiple months. It really sounds like this is someone that Joe Douglas really wants to draft, and after his amazing performance in the Senior Bowl this week, it definitely sounds like Fuega to the Jets at 10 could be a very real possibility. It's also worth noting that Fuega is on the national team at the Senior Bowl, which also happens to be coached by Jets defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. So very interesting that the Jets are interested in Fuega. Definitely hope they draft him because he would be one hell of a player for the Jets, but definitely glad to hear the Jets are interested in him. Next up, we might be having a new wide receiver coached this season once again. Apparently, the New York Jets have a lot of interest in Shawn Jefferson and want him to be the next wide receiver coach. Now, it seems like we're getting rid of Zach Azanzi, who was our wide receiver coach this past season and was also hired last year, and followed Nathaniel Hackett from Denver to the New York Jets. So apparently the Jets were not pleased with Azanzi's performance this season whatsoever and are deciding to let him go. Now, they also interviewed Rob Moore last week, but Moore just accepted the wide receiver coaching job with the Carolina Panthers, so he's not going to be coming to the Jets. But Shawn Jefferson, who was with the Panthers last season, very well might be coming to New York. I also think it's interesting that the Jets' interest in coaches have been from guys that were either on the Titans last season or on the Carolina Panthers. Two pretty mediocre offenses. But I guess the Jets like these guys as coaches and really want them. But Jefferson does have a pretty impressive resume as a wide receiver coach. From 2008 to 2012, he was Detroit's wide receiver coach and, of course, coached Calvin Johnson during that time. Whenever Calvin Johnson broke the all-time receiving record, Shawn Jefferson was his head coach. He also had solid production from his wide receivers in Tennessee and Miami, despite not really having a whole lot of talent at the position and also having some pretty mediocre quarterback play. In 2019 and 2020, he was actually the wide receiver coach with the New York Jets, following Adam Gase from Miami to New York. And the production we saw from the wide receivers during that 2-year span really wasn't the best. Of course, Jamison Crowder, was a solid player for the New York Jets during those 2 years. Robbie Anderson had some solid production. Denzel Mims was all right his rookie year. And, we got some production from Rashad Perriman every now and then, but I wouldn't really say the production from the Jets receivers was off the charts, but also at the same time, you didn't really have that much talent in the Jets receiver room, and you also had some pretty bad quarterback play as well. And then the next season, or I guess the next 2 years in Arizona, he had some great production from his wide receivers. Like 2021, AJ Green had a career resurgence, almost having 1,000 receiving yards in Arizona, along with Christian Kirk almost having 1,000 yards. He also had DeAndre Hopkins for those 2 years in Arizona, although he was hurt for both of them, so he never got to coach a healthy DeAndre Hopkins. Whenever DeAndre Hopkins played, he was a very good wide receiver. So he's always seemed to have gotten some solid production from his wide receivers wherever he's gone, including this past season in Carolina. Adam Thielen had over 100 receptions and over 1,000 receiving yards this past season in Carolina, having a career resurgence. So it seems like he's always gotten some solid production out of his wide receivers. And if he's hired to be the Jets' next wide receiver coach, honestly wouldn't be too mad about the move. It's also worth noting that his son, Van Jefferson, is currently a wide receiver in the NFL and is a free agent this offseason. I'm not saying the Jets are going to be signing Van Jefferson, but definitely would be interesting to say the least. And the last thing we're going to be talking about today is Mac Jones vented to the New York Jets. Apparently, Mac Jones vented to a Jet staffer about how they handled the Zach Wilson situation, saying he absolutely loves how they handled it and that the Patriots handled his situation terrible. Mac Jones said he didn't like how they handled the situation. Apparently, Bill Belichick didn't talk to Mac Jones after Week 12, which is very interesting. But nonetheless, I mean, I really don't know what to make out of this outside of the fact that a Patriots quarterback vented to a Jets coach, which is insanely interesting. But ladies and gentlemen, what are you guys' thoughts on everything that happened today? Let me know down below, and I'm going to signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.